ship in Cayman. For 20 years, she was Cayman's connection to the world, carrying freight, passengers, and mail between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, Jamaica and the United States. Captain Rail held the office of Ad Measure of Shipping for over 45 years. He was appointed a Justice of the Peace in 1928 and served in the Assembly of Justices in Vestry. Captain Rail was married to Miss Hetty, nee Bodden, for 63 years. Together, they raised 5 children and were the proud grandparents of 22 grandchildren, many great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. He received his MBE in 1941, Her Majesty the Queen's Badge in 1954. In 2008, the Central Planning Authority celebrated the contributions of Captain Rail Bodden for his outstanding contributions to planning.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza is Saturday, November 26th. Your ticket, your chance, your prize. Grand prize, $40,000. Second prize, $4,000. 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Get your $25 tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, eventpro.ky, or WhatsApp Rotarian Annie Rose Scott in Cayman Brac at 916-7310. The Rotary Music Extravaganza at Salty's Grand Harbor. Performances by Heat, Fabulous 68s, and CNB. November 26th, you can be the winner. Proceeds fund Rotary Central Community Projects. Rotary Central NPO number 232. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331.
Talk Today is proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dan. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's another magnificent Monday as we invite you to be a part of the discussion. Our good friends from Cayman Enterprise City will start us out at 1 o'clock. We want you to join us as we celebrate Cayman in 1:30. What is your spelling ability like? I bet you many of our students can spell much better. You want to know? Stay tuned. That's the program for today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Mike, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have in the studio Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, the CEO of Cayman Enterprise City.
Thanks for having us back.
How was everything, man? How was, the world these days?
Seems a little crazy out there, but more good than bad. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you know what? That's how it should be, right?
That's right.
Probably even as such, when you look in the mirror, you never can tell. But thank you so much for coming on board, and I trust that, just personally, professionally, there'll always be, good that follows you. So it's always a pleasure. It's amazing that we're in a time where no matter where we sort of turn our heads, where we get our information, there's always something intriguing and interesting relative to technology. A quick aside, the World Cup is on, and already we've seen the use of technology being expanded as to how to ensure that not just fairness, but timeliness relative to the plays that are called. So we can leverage it. I think Cayman Enterprise today is poised to remind the community of how accessible, how engaging, but how lucrative being in that space can be. So as we set the stage for today's discussion, Charlie, thank you. Please, if you so inclined, introduce Ian as well. But tell us where we are, what are we doing, and how are we going to get there?
Okay. Well, why don't I let Ian set the stage? So, Ian Gilmore, and if I may, I just hand it over to him.
Perfect. Hey, listen, that's the way he's in.
Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure to chat with you. So thank you for joining us on the air as well.
No, my pleasure. So my name is Ian Gilmore. I'm the managing director of Euler Digital, which is one of the tenants at Cayman Enterprise City. We incorporated a year ago, and we specialise in artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. I mean, there are friends of mine who joke and say we can't get their natural intelligence, much less artificial. But I won't go there because that's not my joke. But thank you for laughing along. 2-drink minimum. I got better. Artificial intelligence. Good place to start. What is that?
So that is the difficult challenge that I face almost every day, is defining what it is I actually do. Generally speaking, the way to think of AI is, as misleading as a term it is, that we're all stuck with it. But the way to think of technology up until relatively recently is it has been made by human beings. So programmers write code that do procedures that do things that we instruct computers to do. But it's a relatively old technique actually, because the science behind artificial intelligence, neural networks, those kind of thought processes or technologies and mathematics have been going on for decades, ever since Turing and all that kind of big push after the Second World War, during and after the Second World War. But the technology's only really come into play because the cost of computing has dropped so much due to chip design and the move into the cloud. And over the last 5 years, AI, as we call it generically, is starting to find lots of different features. So the way to think of AI is to think of it as, discussed a little bit earlier, is more about learning. So human beings spend a great number of years at school learning how to do things, and if you're a programmer, you learn how to instruct a computer to do something. But there are now techniques where we can teach a computer how to look at a narrow domain such as pictures or text, and then understand or learn what these domains mean, and then infer from that data things that we would acknowledge as being correct. And once we've trained these computers to find patterns in the data, we then unleash them to find more patterns. And the best example I can give is that when you use something like machine learning, for example, it's the kind of thing that will discover that in supermarkets that the nappies and the beer cans need to be together, because dad's rushing home from work, told by the wife to go and pick up. I'm being a little bit specific about role in the family here, but generally speaking, historically, a man will come home to pick up some nappies and he will go and buy beer. So
for the child,
not for the child, but for the.
Just confirming.
So modern supermarkets have actually put beer and nappies closer together, so that you don't have them at different ends of stores. And there's a really simple example of a pattern in the data. That's retail data, and you could go on in healthcare and etc. But so the idea is to think of artificial intelligence more as a sort of computers that learn and mimic the way that human beings think, but on a vast scale.
Yeah. I mean, to your example, then we see how sort of purchasing habits of the consumer, and the more that we extract that data through surveys or whatever. But this way, you're talking about getting it real time. The consumers in the supermarket, for example, they're checking out. We're providing them with a lot of information through the receipt, the cash register receipt, how that's done, and then it's now analyzed and goes. So. But then there must be more data that is being extrapolated and extracted from this consumer purchase in order to give the machine the opportunity to make those patterns and connections.
So the key insight is that we don't a priori tell the if you like the program what to look for. It goes and looks at everything in a really dumb way. It just goes, what about this? You go, no, this, no.
Yeah.
And then through that process of learning and like selecting and sorting, it starts to identify the attributes of something. So I'll give you a really good example. If you want to find fraud, what you do is you examine fraudsters and what they do, but you don't look at just the stuff that they do, if you like, from a banking point of view. You look at the way that they interact with their computers, the people they hang out with, and all of those different patterns and all that different disparate data. The computers will go and learn what fraudsters, you know, what time of the day do they typically do something, you know, those kind of things. And there are, even 3 or 4 years ago, there are applications that could use a graphical user interface on a computer website to work out the difference on if you were lending to someone who was a single parent on really limited means versus someone who, you know, has got like, you know, maybe a bad credit record or things like that, and would never pay back. Yeah. And that's just from the computer user interface. That's not even using data from, you know, the credit file. And it's the computers are now so powerful, they see things we don't, but we have to teach them first.
Yeah. So they draw those patterns from the information, like that GUI, the graphical user interface. That's on your computer system, your desktop, whichever. And then that fascinates me because I noticed one particular computer company was very specific with how they would use the interaction between you and its device. So they became much better at graphics and like. But in that example, how does that work? And for us as the user, so I'm sitting at my desk, do we see this thing up on the screen as one of our icons saying, hey, this is a graphical user interface? It's not that obvious. It's in the background somewhere. How does that work?
So as you're interacting online, you're sending data between your, it's called the client server. So on the client side, that's either your computer or your phone. That's constantly communicating in the background with the server. So that client server interface, that data's moved. You don't see it because it's behind the picture. But every time you move the mouse, every time you don't move the mouse, every time that there's something flashing, you know, it's all that data's being consumed in real time.
Yeah.
So you don't. It is a bit Matrix in a way. That data, the fact you do or don't do something, is data.
I mean, we're all familiar with the, you know, allegedly the employers that can measure your keystrokes as you're fast, you're typing,
100%.
to other things. But let's talk about it because it is a part of where we are. Maybe we can talk about artificial intelligence in Cayman, as you referenced, when we come back, and where are we going to go? Hey, it's not going to be an exam. There might be, I don't know. Stay tuned and find out. Join us after the break.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coral Isle Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
60 and bossy with J and money. Win a trip, it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. I instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Scene, bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy, we well proudie.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for two to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J&M Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy, 60 and bossy.
No J&M bank account required.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Good and cleaner.
Now is the time, and we're ready to help you with your household cleaning needs. And that is bedspreads, comforters, duvets, duvet covers, drapes, and so much more. All items at 7% off prepay, and turnaround time will be 2 to 3 days. Orders can be handled at all 2 stores, Savannah Countryside and Eastern Avenue, drive-through, rain or shine. All stores close at 5:30 p.m. Mondays to Saturdays. Call 949-7104. That's 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
After more than 20 years, the Cayman Islands Air Show is back. It's all eyes to the sky on Saturday, December 3rd for a thrilling air show on 7 Mile Public Beach. Witness amazing aerobatic maneuvers as world-class pilots put on a stunning show. Then see the planes and meet the aviators at the Island Air Hangar. Parking permitted at designated sites with free shuttle buses to the events. For all the details and event lineup, visit CaymanAirShow.com. The Cayman Islands Air Show returns Saturday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. at 7 Mile Public Beach and 3 p.m. at the Island Air Hangar.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And certainly always appreciative of learning something new. And now that we're still working on natural intelligence, well, that's harder. We can get artificial. The CEO of Cayman Enterprise today, Charlie Kirkconnell, always bring interesting discussions to us. Always informative. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And to your colleague Ian, it's as we were going into the break, we're talking about artificial intelligence, and you sort of said it's not synonymous to machine learning, but a good way without it being a euphemism as to what it is. Here, this thing that we're helping to get information through more data, and then from it extrapolates and be able to analyze it much faster without becoming as tired and fatigued as the human person. But where is that in the Cayman? And where is artificial intelligence now? And where are we poised to go?
So every single person using a mobile phone and facial recognition technology to open and close their phones, that's a very advanced feature of that's actually called deep learning, actually, because that's something that is what's called unstructured data. But there's a really powerful example that you probably don't realize, that just opening your phone with your face is an incredible feat of mathematics. And that's a really good place to start, because the majority of the technologies we as consumers will interface with will be on our phones. So therefore, these phones themselves are getting smarter in terms of the way that they consume and use data.
And with that, I mean, there are many people who are concerned about not just securing their personal data but how much of their personal data is being used in a certain way, how much they could employ to ensure that their phones aren't, without their knowledge, giving away information to whomever, government entities, the unscrupulous, and the like. How do we balance that?
Well, that's a really good question, because if you think about what's going on in the United States and Europe with China, the Chinese handset manufacturers are increasingly being either marginalized or subject to outright bans because of concerns about how they could, on the back end, start to use that data. So you've got, fortunately, got a very libertarian streak in California. So companies like Google and Apple generally create quite advanced technologies to protect your privacy on your device, and they're very difficult to de-encrypt. But yeah, generally speaking, it's the other interfaces, the other places that data can be added, CCTV cameras, that kind of stuff. That's the areas where there's if you like less protection. So I'd say even though the smartphone is the place you engage with these technologies most of the time, they're generally speaking reasonably secure. But the open CCTV cameras, of which there are many around the world, your social media is open unless you've locked it, and even if you've locked it, it's still open. So therefore, unfortunately, people don't realize how much data they give away for free, and they're exposing themselves to all sorts of interesting use cases down the road just by posting a picture of your birthday on Facebook.
And to the point you were saying earlier, that it may seem innocuous. It may seem like you've provided some useless information, but with the accelerated pace of learning and some of these mundane that a human wouldn't do, people can these machines can start to piece things together to learn things about you that you wouldn't expect that they could kind of figure out from some very basic, simple information. But it's all about, I guess, the power of the computing and looking for the patterns and kind of associating. Well, if this person does this, then we know what another person who does this, what other things they do. So now you start to make inferences, and so even giving up some of the most basic information about yourself tells a lot more about you than you might think.
And with that, you may have information on 1, 2, or 3 or own on yourself. But if you leverage the neural networks, as it were, then you have information on potential billions, and there creates a pattern. And from that, a reasonable sort of data set that can tell you probable outcomes.
Yeah.
How is that then in the Cayman context? And I guess to get it where we have either subscription and we have the level of interaction and engagement, but also the competence. Where is it in our schools? So we're teaching, are we sitting in the classrooms and just waiting for the hitters, or are we engaging our students?
Well, that's a brilliant question, because my experience, Charlie asked me to talk at a UCCI STEM camp over the summer, and I can tell you the student population, they know AI better than any other cohort on this island. They are so switched on. It's we actually have a youth arm called AI Gen, and it is a constant reminder how the Gen Z and increasingly Gen A understand this stuff intuitively, and old people like me can really struggle to use a mobile phone, even though I'm in the industry. If you like, the schools, I think, do a pretty good job in terms of allowing the kids to explore this domain. And it's not just people programming; it's across the spectrum. I'll give you a really simple example. We did some research recently about what is the colour that Gen Z most associate with, and that colour is yellow. Now, don't ask me how we got there and where we got there, because that was all done by Gen Z students telling us. But yellow is, and there's a whole, there's a whole field of thought in psychology about colours.
Mm-hmm.
But yellow is the colour of Gen Z. So who knew, right? And these are the kind of things that we're learning from youth. And they're the ones that give me the most hope, because they see a lot of positives in the technology. A lot of my age group watch too many Terminator movies and find that we're going to be flooded with killer robots. Whereas I think there's a lot more mundane aspects to this that are really positive in terms of health, and the youth are the ones that are going to be exploring this stuff and bringing these amazing technologies to make life better, not worse.
Well, we have the youth certainly engaged, and sometimes from many of them, almost not just innocently, but almost expectedly, but almost as if they're so casual with it that it becomes an extension of who they are. It's not even without a thought many of them would consider the information that they give up. They just think it's par for the course.
Well, yeah, I mean, we think of again, we be careful how we date ourselves. There's no hiding that, but
yeah, she is today. There is
like the amount of privacy that we give up for the benefit of a free service, shall we say? Whatever that might be, social media and that sort of thing. The people on the other side are gladly taking that trade, because your data is just as valuable, maybe more valuable than monthly subscription fee to get onto Facebook, for example. If they can gather, scrape your data and leverage it, that's probably got significantly more value than 99 cents a month or whatever they might charge if they did charge.
Yeah, on Charlie's point, data mining and free networks. Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi. Many people, they do it because perhaps they don't have a data plan on their phones, or is exhausted, and maybe they're like me, economically conscious is the word we're going to use, right? Economically conscious. But what are we giving up? Are we even conscious of that? Now, some of us would say, well, don't do your banking over a public network. Don't log in. But are we at risk that or young people in particular, they're at some place, they're on the Wi-Fi, and the information is perhaps not as secure, and the data is passing in the background?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, data is extremely valuable, and in the right hands, it's maybe something as benign as some marketing. In the wrong hands, it could be impersonating someone to open up a bank account and open a loan. So the data's... But people are very casual with their data and they don't realise, and that's a real problem for society when data becomes so important. But this problem has existed for a long time.
In different ways.
I watched a really interesting video, interesting to me, where hackers are able to hack ATMs, because most ATMs run on XP and Windows NT, and it's remarkable to me that operating systems from 20 years ago are still in ATMs, so they can dispense notes just by hacking one line of code, and the bank doesn't even realise that instead of getting 4 notes out, you've got 400 notes out, and you wouldn't have a clue. So any technology is going to have what's called an attack surface, but as human beings, we've got our whole life is an attack surface.
And with that, we see the sort of preponderance of businesses in areas. When we come back, what does that look like for the Cayman landscape in terms of AI businesses? And let's speak specifically to the CEC's role in that. All right. Reminded of break. When we return, hopefully we get into it.
Savannah Pharmacy saved my life.
Really? Was it the medication they got you?
No, not this time. I forgot my wife's birthday. They were the perfect place for last-minute shopping.
That's one way to give yourself heart failure. Don't wait last minute for Christmas. Savannah Pharmacy is stocked up for Christmas right now. Gifts for men, women, and children. Home decor, clothes, toys for all ages, fragrances, candles, handbags, and so much more. I was there the other day, and trust me, they'll even wrap all your presents too.
Savannah Pharmacy, a lifesaver in more ways than one.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. always just around the corner with everything your family needs for this holiday season. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday weekend is back in their 50th year with the biggest Cayman sale of the year. Kirk Freeport Black Weekend deals are available from Thursday 24th to Monday 28th in all stores, with the biggest deals of all at a special reopening of Kirk Freeport on Cardinal Avenue on Friday and Saturday only, with up to 75% off all clearance jewelry and watches. From Thursday to Monday, you will find deals at La Perfumery and Strand locations, and you'll get 50th anniversary sweepstake entries on all purchases over $100. The 50th anniversary Black Friday weekend is our biggest yet. KirkFreeport.com for details.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office. Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
A month of Sundays means a very long time. What is a week of Black Fridays? It is 8 days of super savings at A.L. Thompson's beginning Friday, November 18th at 6 a.m. During Black Friday week, you can take advantage of deep discounts on electronics, appliances, home decor, and tools. We invite you to review 8 pages of products in the Black Friday week flyer on althompson.com and to shop at your convenience at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
It's November, and November is Gimme Story. The Cayman National Cultural Foundation presents in your district Gimme Story. 6 evenings of free entertainment for the entire family. November 25th through December 2nd, featuring the best of Cayman's homegrown storytellers. For more details, visit artscayman.org or check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Cayman Culture. Remember, vote best fried fish in each district. Did I mention you get in for free? And we're starting on time. So hurry up, Gimme Story. This gonna be good.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to the Charlie Kirkland over at CEC and Ian Gilmore for joining us. Now, your entity that you said got incorporated last year, Euler Digital, and the idea of artificial intelligence. I got a couple of questions. I recognize in the time, and we were talking to the whole idea of using a digital sort of accessible platform to allow things sometimes to transpire, more cost effectively, more efficiently, whether it's through the machine learning that takes away the mundane task. But there's also this thing that we sort of face, we call it human rights. With great respect, we want to move into the 21st century. We now have a bit of legislation out for public consultation on digital IDs and the supporting things. I wonder where that fits into that new normal where you have a digital ID, you have the physical infrastructure to accommodate the transactions between you and government agencies, We have data protection in this country, a good Bill of Rights. But at some point, where do we balance that efficiency and cost effectiveness with the protection, of individual rights?
Can I say pass on that? Like I'm walking into a minefield of
it's three of us.
No, I think the most important thing that I can say, I've lived in many countries, and the thing that when I've been talking to lots of stakeholders here about artificial intelligence, one of the things about the Cayman Islands is you have the Bill of Rights. You do recognise that you have some basic rights, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's not true in many other countries. So the world is split between countries that are authoritarian, totalitarian, and not respecters of human rights. There are ones that are on the slippery slope, and then there are democracies that do genuinely try to service individuals. And Cayman is very much in that camp. Maybe as imperfect as every other democracy, but the genuine effort is being made to make citizens' lives better, not worse.
Mm-hmm.
In authoritarian jurisdictions, the technology that we're talking about on this call is being used to suppress, to surveil all the sort of what we call the bad AI, right? The use cases that control, and I'm very optimistic about the future, and I feel that the good AI is the stuff that we will see starting to come through in democracies such as the Cayman Islands, and those technologies will be to make society happier, fairer, and healthier.
So with that, I mean, we see, and I have, hopefully without offending anyone or seem less than impartial, I'm a champion for CEC for what it could bring to the economic gains, the social sort of environment that we have in terms of bragging. Hey, we have CEC. It's winning awards internationally. It's bringing potentially a more business to the country, but it's also allowing our citizens to appreciate their skill sets and not be limited to what we may have had to choose from before. You want to work in tourism, or you want to work in banking. Mm-hmm. So with that, CEC potential an AI hub. What kind of business is out there?
Well, yeah. So I did some checking. I hadn't really thought too much about it, quite honestly, until Ian arrived and started promoting. Okay, this could really be something in Cayman after taking a look at our. The Constitution, Bill of Rights, and all this sort of stuff, and the things that we have in place that really make Cayman a fascinating and very attractive place for companies to pursue the development of good AI. And so I've discovered that and I knew there were some, I didn't know how many, but there are over 20 companies in the SEZ that are leveraging some form of machine learning or some form of AI, and just to kind of name, kind of identify, or to kind of identify a little bit of what they're doing. Some things are as simple as we have a client that's utilizing machine learning and AI technologies to feature new and exciting products on their search engine platform. We have another that leverages it to assist the legal asset owners to identify and locate unclaimed property. Which might be an issue for a successor in interest that doesn't know that they actually own something. And then, one of the more common is within the kind of the algorithmic trading world. And we have a client that leverages genetic programming to enable its clients to implement their particular algorithmic trading strategy. And so those are just some small examples of what's happening already in CEC. The number of companies is growing, and what we're seeking to do together, with Ian and his group, is to leverage what the fantastic platform that Cayman in general presents, the existing on island. Expertise and experience, and see if we can grow this even more than we have.
Mm-hmm. And this is where it bodes well, not just for future employment, but for the students who may have, for them, just a fledgling interest, but also that student that is really enamored by it. Well, what can I do with that? And how can I get it? Hopefully this is a discussion that we have continued, understanding the pitfalls that lie ahead for the unscrupulous, but also the wonderful rewards for those who are much more poised. Any final words you want to share with our listeners?
No, thanks very much for giving me the forum. One of the things that I am generally excited about is the future of AI in Cayman, and I'm hoping as we come back over the years that we'll have lots of success stories to share. So watch this space.
Indeed. Yeah. Charlie, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll just stop and by giving Ian and his group a plug, if I may. The AI Gen platform that is part of Ian's project is something that can be leveraged, in the schools, and we are seeking to do that because obviously we want to develop an industry here, but we also want the knowledge transfer. And the future opportunities for young Caymanians that are interested in this space. So watch this space.
Well, certainly looking forward to future discussions, and hopefully we understand how to balance what technology offers with potentially, what may be for some a bit nefarious. So thanks very much. All right, let's pause and take the break. When we come back, we ask you to rejoin us. Stay tuned.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. On Tuesday, November 29th, the Department of Education Services will be holding the RBC Royal Bank Primary School Spelling Bee competition at the John Gray High School Performing Arts Hall. Students from public and private primary schools across the Cayman Islands are registered to participate. The event starts at 10 a.m. In international news, an earthquake on the main Indonesian island of Java has killed at least 62 people and injured hundreds, the National Disaster Agency says. The 5.6 magnitude quake struck at a shallow depth of 6 miles, according to U.S. Geological Survey data. Scores of people were taken to hospital, with many treated outside. Rescuers were working into the night to try to save others thought to still be trapped under collapsed buildings. Actor Chris Hemsworth says he is taking a break from acting after learning he has a heightened risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. The Thor star made the discovery after undergoing tests as part of his Disney Plus documentary series Limitless. He told Vanity Fair the test confirmed his biggest fear, adding he will now be trying to take preventative steps. Alzheimer's can trigger dementia, resulting in confusion, memory problems, and communication issues. Hemsworth learned that he has 2 copies of the gene APOE4, one from his mother and one from his father, making him between 8 and 10 times more likely to develop the disease than those without both copies of the gene. About 2 to 3% of the population carries 2 copies of the gene. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 25th of September 1939, Henry Mansfield Connolly was the third of 8 children for Henry Kitchener and Olive Connolly. Following a 30-year career with National Bulk Carriers, he was one of few Brackers who worked with Cayman Energy Company doing the ship-to-ship oil transfers off the island in the 1980s. Following a medical injury, he retired from sea and started his own plumbing engineer company, C&H Plumbing, which he owned for 16 years. Prior to relocating to Grand Cayman, he
He was a volunteer during hurricane emergencies, assisting with the safety of the elderly in his district. Mr. Connolly was one of the original band members of the famous Brack Beach Boys, a member of the Sister Islands Veterans and Seaman Society, and also a member of the Seafarers Association on Grand Cayman. In 2003, he was one of 500 Seamen Medal honorees for their contribution to the Southwell years.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Let's go straight to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm alright, I'm fine.
Good to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you.
Always good to hear your voice on the radio. Dwayne, today I want publicly to thank the Honorable Premier for taking responsibility. Never happened before that a Premier of this country take responsibility for a mistake. I mean, this traffic happened in town recently and the Premier issue statement and take responsibility. That's never happened before. I mean, this Premier surprised me with all he doing. I think we have the best Premier ever in this country who respect the laws and respect the Constitution and do what is right in all the time. So I think that is show how much respectable of the laws Mr. Wayne Banton. And I tell you the truth, all the decisions he made, it always surprised me that we have this Premier who care about respecting the laws and respecting the Constitution and respecting the people of the country and show the respect to the people who stuck in that traffic that day. I think that's a very good thing.
Mm-hmm. But you do realize that the Constitution, how it's set up, the Premier has, is ultimately responsible for the cabinet, and the cabinet ministers are accountable to him, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I agree with you. He says, hey, I'm the guy responsible, so if you're going to point fingers and blame anybody, hold anybody at the polls responsible, that's good. It shows that leadership, right?
Right. That shows we have a great leadership today. And I think if we look at the ministers, we have good Minister of Finance, we have a great Minister of Agriculture, we have great Minister of Health, we have great other ministers in there. Only I have a problem with one minister who is not doing his job right. That's Mr. Brian as Minister of Public Transport. I think today the Premier should take a decision that separate this ministry to somebody who can do the job right.
Would you want a ministry?
Anyone who can capable to do this ministry. There is people who are councillors. He could promote one as Minister of Public of Transport. and put this responsibility in their hands. I mean, we are getting worse and worse in the bus public transport, and things is getting worse. Some of those drivers' behavior unacceptable anymore in this country. The language, the way how they dress. You know, I see one, his pants drop and showing his boxer. That is not something good in front of the tourists. The tourists now come back. This country needs to straighten this public bus transport. They playing bad music, and some of them using the bus as church promoter. Some of them using the bus just to go to Bodin town and turn and come back. There is those buses have no, those drivers have no respect to this country, flying Jamaican flag in the bus. This is not Jamaica. We have to respect this country. If I have a business and I want to fly a flag, I will not fly a Jordanian flag. I will fly the Cayman Island flag. I have to respect this country. This country will welcome every foreigner from all over the world, 137 nationalities in Cayman, as far I know. And there is a lot of nationalities could work a bus public driver to drive public bus. Not all have to be from one nationality, and they behaving bad and giving a bad picture about this country. I'm not saying all the drivers is bad. There is a lot of drivers, I mentioned their names before in public radio.
Right,
they are behaving good. They are giving good picture about this country. They go into their roots, and they're doing a good job.
Yeah. Well,
but the ones they're not behaving, we talked to this minister, Mr. Brian, many times. We call his name many times, that he needs to do his job as Minister of Transport. If he can't do the job as Minister, the Premier needs to take action and remove this ministry from his hand to somebody else. All over the world, they're doing cabinet reshuffle, and the Premier needs to think about doing that.
All right.
Today, the public bus transport system is very bad, and this board sitting in the public bus transport is very bad board. They're not doing their job, and he needs to think to change this board to some people who do their job right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you sharing that sentiment, man, and maybe others will not necessarily agree, but we'll see. Hey, thanks very much. Let's take a couple of the other callers. Welcome, good afternoon, thanks for calling.
Your call again later. This is a
all right, 949-8037 or the toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Hey, good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Yes, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon, good to hear from you.
Doing good so far.
All right, excellent.
I really take interest in that beginning of the show, because artificial intelligence is very important. Thank God that I'm blessed to know about artificial intelligence as well, because I didn't have a radio to listen into, but I can see that you have 4 listeners on YouTube. Alright, now it's on to 2. But anyways, I'm confident that there are other people that do not use this search engine. You see what the social media can do, right? I shared with you what I do on YouTube, and that's a freedom of expression. In my opinion, I think that the fact that people like to hide their identity is really important, because sometimes we might have a negative view on certain things, especially when it comes into what is concerned by some. And I would like to see artificial intelligence being used in the Cayman Islands very responsibly. and not just for promotions, because we know the promotions is out there on it, and we clearly know that it's being exposed out, especially by individuals that are well known in the world, in the island especially. And we need to take our, like, I would say that getting into the freedom of speech part. I promised I said it on Friday, I said the next day, but I realized that it was Monday, right? But it's a new day. We still have a chance to speak about it. And if we use our freedom of speech instead of freedom of expression, it comes into a part where it gives information. And the information should be consulted with people that is in concern. And when they're in concern, it obviously is going to be something done about it, because if it hasn't been talked about, it's obviously not a problem, right? So if we can just work together and say, let's stop insulting each other. Let's stop making each other feel a little bit doubtful about the situation we're talking about. Maybe there might be someone not in the problem as the same as you.
Right.
But it's always in concern of someone else that might be listening. And that person hears the encouragement from the other one that is saying, stop doing it.
Yeah.
And that's not positive.
No.
The word empowerment comes in almost like I tell you, it hits two sides. It's good and there's a bad.
Yeah. Need to encourage, you know, need to be positive. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, man. Anything else quickly before we take the other caller?
No, I actually just gonna listen in.
All right, man. Well, share when you wear, man. Thanks very much, okay? All right. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
And to you, Mom. Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. And you?
Oh, very healthy, very blessed, very thankful.
I think the majority of us is thankful.
Amen.
When you gotta come up on these roads and deal with this traffic, and it's not even it's not even Christmas, you would say, you know. But I tell you, Sterling, if you don't get this traffic under control, we're gonna be in a large awakening in due time. In due time.
So what do we do to get it under control?
What do? We need to stop issuing license, because that license department is being used for revenue for this country. And when you sit down and see sometimes where some of this revenue go, and the population is growing rapidly because we're issuing a license left, right, and center, and then we're bringing in all of these cars left, right, and center. Mr. House cars come in on those ships every week. Right. Everybody's driving. And I just want to say, pardon?
Yes, well, I was going to ask you, though. You go ahead, and I just want to ask something of what you shared. Yes, please.
And you know, everybody's up in arms about what the Premier calling and apologizing about the traffic for around Friday. So tell me something. How long have you been doing piracy in the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, been a bee now.
And this been going on from then. It just, you know why it's so noticeable, this trip? Because there's more cars than the roads can handle. And nobody in government with a capital S on it trying to figure out how to stop so many vehicles into this little baby island we call the Cayman Island. Something needs to be done, Sterling. And if the government, past, present, future, cannot see, who else out here can see, Sterling? It's only us. You want to tell me that the government officials don't drive our streets? Do they have helicopters taking them to the yard every evening and bringing them to the glass house every morning and the MLA building? Come on, Sterling. We have people here, government and our own. Our eyes are closed. And when the few get up and speak up, then they want to say, oh, why they don't shut up and let's go with the flow. That's not the answer to the solution, Sterling. The flow, let me tell you something, it's going to be a terrible flow, more than what we got right now. I say the next 2.5 years, Sterling, anything coming, you better make sure that you can get in, you park your car, just walk, go where you have to go. You get there quicker by walking instead of driving, believe me.
So with that, right, I guess Friday, and however we look at it, and for whatever reasons we, believe it happened, and but with that in mind, there are many who said, well, is the issue number of people? You've talked about the population. Is that what it is, that we've got too many people, and instead of growing the population, we need to reduce the population? What is your view if that was the question asked?
The population is growing too rapidly for such a small island. Island is very small. You said, what is 76 square miles? And we got about 75,000. Is it about 75,000 people living here in this island? And just about everybody has a car. You pass some yards, you got 3 or 4 cars parked up, and everybody going Georgetown. They can't carpool. They want carpool because everybody going somewhere different after work is over. You understand? Sterling, we're not trying to take away nobody's pleasure of having your own vehicle. Don't get me wrong. But the fact of the matter is, the island is too small. We got the public buses. They are running to their convenience and their convenience only. So that is not actually working as far as I'm concerned.
And that was the other thing too. Yeah.
The taxis are working neither.
Yeah. I'm glad you referenced that, because that's the other thing. If we say to people, no more licenses, no more cars, just say for example, but how are people going to get to and from work, to and from school, to and from shopping, their social engagements, visiting, in the absence of some, and I'll use the word or a phrase, public transport? We say it, but from what people are sharing, it's not really a proper public transport system.
It's not public neither.
Yeah.
It's not a public transport.
It's not.
It's all
Right.
privately owned.
But for that individual that is leaving work at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and needs to get to work at those times, can that person?
There's no bus service. There'll be no bus service for them.
Right, and not only that, it should be running and efficiently and timely. It needs to be clean. It needs to be safe. It needs to service the areas. You have people who say, well, they live, a good ways off the bus route, as it were, as if we have a defined enforced bus route. We hear the constant, calls from people, the complaints.
Sterling, many years ago, husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends, sisters and brothers get up and carry the family to work back home. But now it's too easy. It's more easy than to just have your own car, which I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong, but we are too overpopulated, and we got like about 25,000 people here on work permit alone.
Yeah. Do you think as has been alleged, that it was just that road closure, the roads that they closed on Friday, from Thursday evening and through Sunday? Do you think that was what it was that created the gridlock? I mean, I heard that even in the...
It did some, because it was closed for too long, for one thing, Thursday. It did some, because in all of those that use that route to get where they go, and that took them particular days to work and so forth, they had to take a detour, and then that got great luck into the other people who was using the other roads going to their destination. You understand? So it became an impact on everybody. And no apology is going to solve the problem. I said this past week, it needed to stop, period. And if they're going to continue it, they need to take it out of town. Take it out of town. Or go to Truman Borden Sports Center. They don't sit down and see what Paris is all about. Prior of them days gone by was a bunch of murderers. And Sterling, before you cut me off, I want to talk about 2 more situations.
We do have a caller, but go right ahead, yes.
Sterling, the garbage, this yearly pickup, that needs to come to a complete stop. S-T-O-P with a capital S. You know why, Sterling? The government is spoiling the people on this island left, right, and center, and it's costing money. And there's so many people without jobs on this island. And government can make a household, bring out their garbage, and throw it wherever they want them to throw it. And then the government got to pay to pick it up. When that individual brought that stuff from their house, they should have been able to go straight to the dump with it. Sterling, another thing, I cannot believe that the garbage that's being accumulated since last year. It's undespicable to see so much garbage that's out through. I went into East End yesterday evening. Sterling, the garbage is coming up left, right, and center on the sides of the road. Up there on Newlands Highway, they're asking no garbage to be dumped up there, and people is going there, seeing all rope around and warning, and they are still throwing stuff on that piece of rope around piece of property. People don't read their signs. They don't understand. They don't ask no question. They come out and do as they please, and they come in like, I'm in charge. I can do whatever I want to do. You understand? We got laws, and the laws are not being used. Where are the police officers? Where are the government officials? If the government official needs some extra eyes and hands up here in the road, why ain't they bringing in people to help them control what's happening in this still small island, Sterling?
Mm-hmm.
And Sterling, you know, now 5:30, 5:45 is getting dark in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And we got caught in our traffic yesterday coming back from the eastern side. Sterling, those headlights on those vehicles, they are a blinding situation. Sterling, I know years ago they used to change the bulbs up when they bring these cars here to the island. Apparently they don't do that anymore. The LED lights that are being used on these vehicles that is for highways in the rest of the world, they're not suitable. Those lights are not suitable for Cayman. They are blinding, and we don't have the roads for those type of lights that they're using now in these cars here in this island. So I don't know what the government is doing. I don't know what the police department is doing. And we are just sitting here like a bunch of idiots. But then again, they can come out and bring out some rules and regulations, and they don't even work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even work, sir, because they've got nobody to implement them and make sure that they're being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being carried out. So then I could talk to you till Jesus come, because out here is frustrating. The traffic is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the weekend with all the traffic, I don't know if the road has ever been closed off that long before, but in the Paris Week, that we have Paris Week every year, and this Paris Week need to be changed to another name and be taken somewhere else. You know how many kids were left in preschools and after class in the evening going east to be picked up to go home in the evening time? That have nothing to eat, had a snack at 3:30 and got to wait hour, 2 hours for their parents to come pick them up. You know how heart-wrenching that is, Sterling? The people are going to consideration. You can go to Vivian's Kitchen on a Sunday and get fried lobster, crab meat, and I'd rather meat that they had in town this weekend. Don't get me wrong. No disrespect to them.
Mm-hmm.
But it should have been put somewhere else.
Well, maybe lessons learned. Thank you very much, Mom. Always a pleasure. I could talk to you forever. Thank you so much, all right?
Bye.
Okay, blessings. Let's take one other call if we can. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling. What are you saying, bro?
Hey, how are you, my friend? How are you?
I am well for the most part. Thank you. Thank you very much for asking. I just wanted to chime in a little bit about Friday's gridlock, and I didn't want to belabor it and stretch it anymore, but I waited all this time because I think it's important. I think, no doubt, there are a number of factors that played into that. But as the lady rightfully said a while ago, Paris Week's been going on for a very long time. Nothing has changed that drastically, with the exception of one thing in my observation. And I truly believe, it's my simple little layman analysis, was a great part of the reasons why that gridlock happened. Before I share that, let me preface, and you know that I've called in previously called in to give my praise of the NRA. I don't know if the NRA are responsible for signs and that sort of thing to do with detours, or whether it's the police, or whether it's a combination of the two. But those detour signs that were put out from as far down as the Old Marin, so on the West Bay Road, so north of the cemetery, have that neon sign there flashing, talking about the road closure ahead, go left or go take Eastern Avenue. They have a little sign right at the entrance to Eastern Avenue before the split off, telling you to detour. It just says detour. Then you get a little further up, at least I don't know in regards to Paris Week, but I suspect it's the same because the signs didn't move. So the last major event, as I recall, that was in Georgetown that shut down everything. A piece of the road, nothing different, was that Halloween event. And they had those detour signs at the corner of Barton's Road, or whatever it's called, right opposite 7-Eleven. They had one there. They had detour all along the entire thing. And Sterling, if you weren't if you aren't Caymanian or somebody who's familiar with driving on the roads and know that the road closure is not happening to all the way up there, in this case, 4th Street.
Mm-hmm.
The Halloween one was a little further north, and so you could turn on to Casanova there onto Mary Street. But the Pirates Week one, as I recall, was up by 4th Street. So you even had 4th Street that you could feed into. I believe that signage and that entire thing played into Friday afternoon. There were a lot of people who, and we tend to sometimes, heard thinking, oh, that's going to be closed, it's going to be busy. Everybody there. If even the 20% or 30% that would naturally move along that coastal road took Eastern Avenue and then started feeding into the little side roads,
mm-hmm.
I can tell you, bro, that contributed immensely, if not triggered. If it didn't trigger it, it contributed to it. And I that's my simple analysis. Nothing major else has changed, bro. And we assume as well that everyone knows that the road doesn't really close until 4th Street, or in the case of the Halloween one, until Mary Street. But there are a lot of visitors on the island who are driving and that sort of thing as well. And some of the new people who are coming on work permit stuff, they naturally think that everybody must feed there. And at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, with everybody naturally getting off, I truly believe that contributed more than any other thing. And here's perhaps the kicker in regards to those signs as well, because I noticed it for all the other events. For someone who uses town quite frequently and know our roads and know what's taking place and
mm-hmm.
when it's taking place, they don't collect them. They leave them there. So even the morning after the event, and I'm sure it was after this one, in fact I know it was because I took a picture of it, the detour sign was still on Saturday morning. There was another time when we had a major event in town just recently, and the police, when we were fixing the road there at Cardinal Avenue,
mm-hmm.
and they were announcing that one of the roads were going to be closed, or half of it. So I think it was the southbound lane was closed while they did work, and the northbound was open. Well, they opened them like later that afternoon. Do you know the next day I was on that road, bro, and the police blockade signs were still down by 4th Street, and the other ones were still by the museum, and there was no need. The road was open. the southbound was open, and they still had the barrier up at the northbound. So, I don't know who's responsible, whether the police are responsible for putting out the barricades, but they need to do the follow through, like who's responsible for collecting them, first of all, or whether it's the
mm-hmm.
authority. I know at one point in time it was the police. I don't know if because the National Roads Authority have been doing such a great job at everything else, whether they have assumed that responsibility, and perhaps part of their road management is doing that neon sign flashing down there, but I haven't drove by there today but it's likely
mm-hmm.
still there saying detour, just
mm-hmm.
because these, they don't collect these things, bro. And if you're not from here and you're not familiar, you wouldn't know, no, there's nothing going on, I can go straight. Think about the visitor, like I said, or the newcomer that just came. They're going to think naturally you're going to merge onto Eastern Avenue and go. I'm willing to bet all the money I have, and very little, but now those signs and the collection of them, and talking about detour all the way up,
mm-hmm.
greatly contributed, if not triggered, this event. In addition to a couple of other things, because that event, like the latest said, has been going on for 30 years. There's nothing different. They didn't close it any further down. It wasn't closed from Eastern Avenue. It was closed from 4th Street, bro. And if the little 30% that would normally go up that street decided not to, primarily because they started these detour signs, and it's only the last couple of events that we've seen that they never used to have it. People would naturally go up there, find, okay, maybe I'll just take Barton's Road, or the next one might decide I'll just take Mary Street, or go as far as 4th Street and take it. If all that little 10% or 25%, I said 30%, naturally fed into what was already very crowded roads, well, there you have it.
There you have it, man.
That is my little thoughts.
Well,
but the important takeaway is that the people responsible for those signs need to take them down the next day, bro.
When the roads are reopened, take the signs down so that they are, right?
Take down the signs.
Yeah, man. Kind of like election night, take down signs for the election day rolls.
Signs like election night, yeah. Maybe we should put down law and they'll do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. And I'm willing to bet all the money you have too, man. So don't worry about it.
That, I know. Really ready, bro.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
As to that listening others, enjoy a safe afternoon. But join us right after the break. Stay tuned for these wonderful commercials.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
Switch from Slow to the fastest, most reliable network to get this exclusive Digicel Christmas offer. It costs $0 to switch. It's free and you keep your number. That's not all. Switch today and enjoy 50% off your bill for the next 3 months. Stay on any Christmas plan to get 10 gigabytes of any use data every month for a year on us. That's 10 gigs for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and more. Hurry in store and make the switch today with this limited time Christmas offer. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving. Digicel, Merry Christmas!
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coral Isle Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
The Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, invites the public to attend a seminar series on pet and large animal disaster and emergency preparedness. 2 seminars are available. The Pet Emergency Preparedness Seminar on Tuesday, the 22nd of November, from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Red Cross Shelter on Huldah Avenue, Georgetown, and the Large Animal Emergency Preparedness Seminar on Wednesday, 23rd of November at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Seafarers Hall, Victory Avenue, Prospect. To register, visit DOA's and HMCI's Facebook and Instagram pages at Agriculture Cayman and at Cayman Prepared.
A month of Sundays means a very long time. What is a week of Black Fridays? It is 8 days of super savings at A.L. Thompson's beginning Friday, November 18th at 6 a.m. During Black Friday week, you can take advantage of deep discounts on electronics, appliances, home decor, and tools. We invite you to review 8 pages of products in the Black Friday week flyer on althompson.com and to shop at your convenience at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
Parma
Carpet Christmas sale is back, starting Thursday, November 24th through Saturday, November 26th for a full 25 hours of savings, with 25% off in stock carpet, 25% off in stock tiles, and 25% off in stock granite slabs. All orders should be collected within 25 hours, or storage fees will apply. See in store for terms and conditions. Save big in Parma Carpet pre-Christmas sale from November 24th through November 26th. Located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. and Saturday, 7:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpet.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And it's always a pleasure to be able to, not just highlight and showcase, but celebrate and enjoy the successes of our students. And when through the Department of Education Services in particular, we can have events where the public sometimes can not only see the fruits of the labor and the service and sacrifice of the students and the teachers and the parents, but to be in person. So Ms. Nikki Samuels, as we introduced you, a senior customer service officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Acting senior, huh?
Actually, you should say manager.
Manager, yeah.
Acting senior customer service manager.
Yeah. I was thinking, last thing came on, did they put you? But it's a lot because you have so much happening within the schools and everything that transpires.
Yes.
You guys got me so. It's a pleasure to welcome you back. And then especially now to talk about spelling bees. Huh? I have a bee at home and it doesn't spell. I get honey, so that's a good thing. But talk to us, Ms. Nikki. How are you?
We're good. We're very busy bees at work as well. There's a lot going on, and I know that within the schools, it's been a very busy start to the academic year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think more than anyone else, we feel the day is just evaporating and that we're actually at the end of November, and spelling bees are going to happen next week. We've been working actively because the interest is there. The kids are incredible, and we do our part to promote and support them. It's not just a showcase, but it's also how they develop their literacy awareness. You see children that go through these things like spelling bees and NCFA and so on. They move on to greater heights within their academic success, and also as they leave school, they've networked, they've got a wider set of skills. We're just excited to be along for the ride, no pun intended, and we look forward to next week. I mean, we do all of our work beforehand, just like them, but on the day, we get to enjoy, but we know it's nail-biting for the contestants.
I can imagine, and either through you, we can welcome Mr. Hansen. Do you want to introduce him, or shall we ask him to do himself? I mean, it's not public debate, but he still has to be on stage. So should we ask Jaden to do it?
Yes, we will. I think he's very apt at things like that.
There you go. Well, Mr. Hansen, would you please, as you wish to share, introduce yourselves and the school you're representing, and we'll ask you some more questions. Okay. I know your mom is prepared you well.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeon Hansen. I am a year 11 student at John Gray High School, and a past spelling bee participant and second place winner for the year of 2021. And I am grateful to be here today.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I would just like to add that he participated in the primary as well.
Uh-huh.
So he was not new to the game. He's been on board quite some time.
Well, if you will, Master Hansen, let's ask of you, because the spelling bees now are different, better in a sense than maybe they were 1,000 years ago when we used to do it. And the students not only seem to be better prepared and the like, but more comfortable. And as Ms. Nikki shared, you did it in primary school. If it's okay with you, what attracted you to want to do? I mean, you get up on stage, please spell onomatopoeia, and that's probably one of the easier words, right? I mean, I don't know where to give, as a joke, the fella shares with me, where to give students such big words like cow to spell. When they give us something small like a mosquito. What was it like for you? I mean, what drew you to want to be a part of Spelling Bees?
All right, so in primary school and still, I am a major fan of English.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that appealed to me. But the other thing is that my brother, he was also a past competitor,
Mhm.
and he did place. And after he did place, I was attracted. I was driven to want to participate into the spelling bee competition as well.
I like how you put that. Yeah. My brother did, let me do it better, right? And that's a healthy competition within siblings. And I think Miss Nikki too, sometimes the prizes, the bragging rights for the school, but the student, achieve prizes and scholarships and the like.
Yeah, because it's an opportunity to represent your school,
Mhm.
but also yourself. So there's a lot of meeting. It's nice to meet like-minded persons as
Mhm.
well, to see you're doing your competitions or your practices within your own school, but when you have the opportunity to see what's happening across the board and how other competitors, I don't know, maybe strategies and things like that. We saw it a lot in the primary
Mhm.
school. 1 year there was a little one that was a homeschooler, and of course she wouldn't have her big school there supporting her, just her parents, but as she came along there was a lot of high fives and great support. The secondary do a lot of support for each other as well.
Mhm.
So it's not raw competition, it's a high level of sportsmanship for these young people.
Indeed, and it helps them. Perhaps, Jane, from your perspective, then, like, two things. What and how do you prepare for a spelling bee? I mean, I don't want you to give the state secrets and strategies that may tip your hand, but please share, because we want to encourage more students to participate. Not just all the schools, but all the students that are interested.
Okay, so spelling bee is really a studying thing. So you have to have the time in your day to prepare for it. So it's not time, lunchtime, after school, anytime that's possible, it's best to study for it. And also, when you're studying the words, the best thing to do is look into the definitions, the sentences, the origin. I think that's it, yeah. So words may have altering definitions, but same pronunciation. So studying those two are very important.
So do you get into the syntax and the etymology of the words as well, or just what you shared?
Just what I shared.
Yeah, okay. And then the reason why I ask is that builds vocabulary. That helps you to appreciate. I mean, there are many of us who, are aspiring linguists and the like. From that perspective, though, I spell a word. Most people that I know very comfortable. They'll write it down. They need to see it. They want to write. But I think from the spelling bee, it's the idea that here's the word given by the moderator. Is that the person?
The spellmaster.
Spellmaster. I see. There was a spellmaster, but that was a movie. And the person came up with eyes. So it's a different spellmaster. But there is no pen and paper.
No.
You have to say it.
Yeah. And as a confession, I'm a person that have to, if you ask me to spell something, I have to
Write
write it, see it. So when you guys are on stage
Yeah.
just calling, I'm like, ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the word, you may actually know what it means, but then is it, where does the E go? Is it after the O? Is it, you want to see it? All right. I'm told we have one quick break, and then we will try to connect with one of the other students in the BRAC, hopefully, and have this discussion and just answer whatever you want to tell us, and maybe we'll do a little spelling on air. All right. Stay tuned, please, for Talk Today.
First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming! Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coraline Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates farewell lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
Savannah Pharmacy saved my life.
Really? Was it the medication they got you?
No, not this time. I forgot my wife's birthday. They were the perfect place for last-minute shopping.
That's one way to give yourself heart failure. Don't wait last minute for Christmas. Savannah Pharmacy is stocked up for Christmas right now. Gifts for men, women, and children. Home decor, clothes, toys for all ages, fragrances, candles, handbags, and so much more. I was there the other day, and trust me, they'll even wrap all your presents too.
Savannah Pharmacy, a lifesaver in more ways than one.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Always just around the corner with everything your family needs for this holiday season. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Parma Carpet Christmas sale is back, starting Thursday, November 24th through Saturday, November 26th for a full 25 hours of savings with 25% off in stock carpet, 25% off in stock tiles, and 25% off in stock granite slabs. All orders should be collected within 25 hours or storage fees will apply. See in store for terms and conditions. Save big in Parma Carpet pre-Christmas sale from November 24th through November 26th. Located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. and Saturday, 7:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpets.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Switch from slow to the fastest, most reliable network to get this exclusive Digicel Christmas offer. It costs $0 to switch. It's free and you keep your number. That's not all. Switch today and enjoy 50% off your bill for the next 3 months. Stay on any Christmas plan to get 10 gigabytes of any use data every month for a year on us. That's 10 gigs for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and more. Hurry in store and make the switch today with this limited time Christmas offer. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving. Digicel, Merry Christmas.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And for a few more minutes, get a chance to tell you about an upcoming Spelling Bee. After the headline news at 2, we'll have some more open line. But the acting senior customer service manager over at the Department of Education Services, Ms. Nikki Samuels, joins us. And always a pleasure. She brought along, last year's second place, recipient, should we say? Yeah, from John Gray. Ms. Hansen, we'll get back to you in a second. But tell us some more, Ms. Nikki. Where, when, why, what, and all the wherefores.
Well, I'd just like to share that we have an extremely large group participating this year. It's going to be an incredible competition. We have for our RBC, Royal Bank, they're actually back on board this year as our sponsor. They were our main sponsor from day one for the primary, but there was a 2-year break because of different reasons, and they're now back on board. And also for our secondary, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman continues to be such a large support for us. And I'd like to share that this year we have 17 primary schools participating, including our reserve children, that's 65 students alone. For the secondary, there are 11 schools with 39 children. And we'd just like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, and our teachers, students, and everyone at home and in the community that is providing support to our students to allow these programs to continue and flourish. And just to highlight that both of the competitions are open to the public, so we're looking forward to seeing supporters there. The RBC Royal Bank primary school competition will take place next week, Tuesday morning, at 10 a.m., starting at 10 a.m. at the John Gray High School Performing Arts Hall. And the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Secondary School competition is going to be on Wednesday, the 30th, at the Lions Center, starting at 10 a.m. Now, we say starting at, we have a tentative closing time. Normally, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But because the type of competition it is, and how strong our students are, it can be shorter or it can go on longer, right? Yes.
Yeah, there it is. Huh? Now, Ms. Nikki, I believe we managed to leverage the technology to join a student on the BRAC. Let's see if it works. We pull new string connected to the metal cables. Let's see. Hey, good afternoon. Xavier?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
All right. Thank you for, I'm sure it's a challenge to pull you away from class. I know how diligent you are. Thank you for joining us. Could we ask you to please introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Hello, my name is Xavier Roman. I'm from Creek and Swat Bay Primary School. I am from the 6th grade. I am so happy to be in the spelling bee.
Well, we're glad that you are also able to, join us for a few minutes with Ms. Nikki and Mr. Hansen. Now, I understand that you also were a competitor in the 2021 spelling bee.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do in that one?
I got 2nd place. I felt pretty proud of myself.
As you should be. You want to tell us about, how you prepare for it. We asked you earlier, how we do. If it's okay, and only if you want to, how do you prepare for the spelling bee?
I work hard and try my best. I really just hope for the best while doing everything that I can.
Well, that's commendable. And to other students, but their parents in particular, because many we get a little bit sort of shy and nervous. We have to go up on stage amongst all these people and spell, and there's a microphone. So we sort of shy away from it. What can you say to them that may help them to, do what you're doing and go on the stage and be a winner?
So just take deep breaths if you're a bit nervous and try to just be yourself.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Miss Nikki? From the mouths of students, we are much more instructed. That's amazing.
Yeah. And you can tell the level of preparedness these children have because it then equates to confidence on the stage. Because if they haven't prepared themselves when they get on stage, they'll be nervous and worry. But these young people, these 2 young men we have on with us, they definitely prepared. And, they're just basically there to execute.
If it's okay, through you, Miss Nikki, I'll ask Mr. Hansen. You're in the high school, the secondary, we call it. Here's Mr. Xavier in the primary. What advice would you give him to help him, not only do well this time around, but to continue the interest and do even better, as life progresses? If you knew now what if you knew then what you know now, what advice would you give him?
The advice that I would give him is that keep pressing on, keep pushing forward. You're close to the competition now, and you can put in the work to be great. So even if you're interested later, I would encourage you to keep going forward. Don't be shy. Don't be worried about anything. And all you need to do is the best, and the best is all that matters.
And then, Xavier?
Yes, sir.
From that, as you prepare, is it then that you have help from family and teachers, or is this something that you do perhaps independently on your own?
I like to get help from my family, my teachers. It could help maybe boost my confidence.
And Jaden, from that, likewise with you, or is it just for the most part you tuck away in your cubicle and you do your thing, and then you come back and see how it goes?
I rely mostly on the persons around me, so that's like my family members, my coach, which is my mom also. So anybody that's available around me, I'll ask them for help in my studying and preparation for the competition. And
you've done the primary, you're doing the secondary, you've seen it. Is it then that, because some of us, we wonder how do we prepare? Will the words be any word, or is it you have expectations that the words will be taken from certain areas, or you just got to be prepared and the word could be anything? How does that happen?
All right, so the book is divided into 2 sections. So there's the easy words and there are the harder words. So studying the easier words, so for that round, you can understand that one of those words will come, doesn't matter the letter. So any word from each letter of the alphabet might come, not guaranteed. So all you have to do is look at the different type of words, study each section one at a time, and prepare for each section in the competition.
And for you, Xavier, how do you find it?
I find that even if I'm nervous, I know that I'll be prepared well, so I'll just try and remain calm and remember.
Mm-hmm. So, Ms. Dickey, we appreciate that the students have to get back to school. And as we ask maybe final questions, what other thoughts would you want to share to both our guests, but also the other students who will be participating, 6 to 5 in one cohort in the primary? I mean, that's significant. Maybe the next time, as they...
We're really happy to see the growth in the secondary in particular. Normally, that's a smaller cohort of children coming out, so we're happy to see that grow. My advice to the students is the same as these young men have said. It's 2 parts. You have to prepare yourself. You're going to go up there, and it's important that you're fully prepared. You utilize all the resources around you, and do your best. Always do your best.
I think that's the one thing that we share with our children. And before we ask Xavier for his final thoughts, Jenny, any other thoughts you may want to share with our listeners?
Sure, thank you. For those who are doing the competition this year, I'd like to say kudos to you. It's a great thing that you're stepping up to do this, and I'm really proud. Don't be scared when the competition comes. All that matters is that you do your best, and I will be cheering for you as well. All right, there you go.
And Xavier, any other words you may want to leave with our listeners?
I wish the best of luck to all of us.
I love that spirit of, not just competitiveness and collaboration, but sportsmanship. Thank you, Mr. Roman. Thank you very much. Ms. Nikki, you have the final word if you want. So it's next week? We got a week away?
So please put in your calendars for next week, Tuesday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. The primary competition, the RBC Royal Bank primary competition, will take place at the John Gray Performing Arts Hall at 10 a.m. And the Lions Club of Grand Cayman secondary competition is the Wednesday, which is at 10 a.m. as well at the Lions Center. And just going forward, the spelling bees always take place the last Tuesday and Wednesday in November. So you can book your calendar for the next 10 years if you'd like. Just secure those days as, you have some, we're fantastic to go. And I guarantee you will really enjoy and just be astounded by the phenomenal strength of our students, both academically and their level of maturity and sportsmanship.
Well, that's very evident here that they, not just competitors, but they are also, students who complement each other. Thank you both, Jane. Thanks, Xavier, and best luck to you and all of the competitors. Your winners just by being willing to exercise the discipline and determination to be a part of the competition. So, Ms. Nikki, anytime after the event, if you wish to come back on, please let us know.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Let's go to the news, and then please join us for some more Open Line after.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Department of Labor and Pensions will hold office hours in Cayman Brac on Tuesday, November 29th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Contact DLP at gov.ky or call 945-8960 with any queries. In international news, NASA's Artemis spacecraft has arrived at the moon. The Orion capsule swept 80 miles above the lunar surface, and it will now begin to enter a larger orbit. The vehicle was out of contact for 34 minutes during this maneuver as it took place on the far side of the moon. As the signal returned, the spacecraft sent back an image of the Earth. NASA says so far the mission has exceeded expectations since last week's launch. Beijing says it is facing its most severe COVID test yet after it saw the country's first coronavirus deaths in 6 months and cases continue to soar. 3 deaths have been reported in the Chinese capital since Saturday, bringing the country's official death toll to 5,229. The latest fatalities have plunged parts of the city home to more than 21 million back into lockdown. The deaths come amid rare protests over China's zero COVID policy. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It's open line and we take your calls toll free with the compliments of Floor 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261 and we'll read some of those. But if you're not able to do that, please call us on 949-8037. 949-8037 or WhatsApp 925-3261. And let us know what is happening. All right, got a quick bit of information here to share with some of you. Let me see if I can get it on the screen properly and do what we can. And in the meantime, thanks to not just the sponsors, the teachers, and the parents for encouraging their students to participate, whether it's events like the Spelling Bee, and that is happening again next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. at the John Gray Performing Arts Hall. That's the primary school competition sponsored by RBC Royal Bank. And then the following day, the secondary school competition is on the 30th. That is at the Lions Center and sponsored by the Lions Club of Grand Cayman. And it's good to see the various sort of level of sponsorship and participation. But many times, it is for many of us the opportunity to share it. So through these events, we see our students, we see their interests. Sometimes we appreciate their level of, sort of nervousness they might have. And thankfully, with the continued encouragement of parents and teachers, but also their fellow classmates, they go and they compete and they attain great success. And it's not just by placing in the finals or in the top 3 or what have you. It's the idea that they were willing to step up, and that itself, is a win. Well, with wins, as we recognize, the World Cup is ongoing. It's being hosted, I think, to my knowledge, the first time that it's not over the summer. Certainly also the first time that it's being held in a country that's probably not Europe or South America or North America. So maybe the world is seeing a sense of unity, but is it really? Well, share with us. And I say that to ask, as many of the callers prior to the last segment were lamenting about the traffic woes. Well, how do we address them? The gentleman that called earlier, as he has shared, commending the Honourable Premier for accepting responsibility, but also in the same breath suggesting that the Minister responsible for transport, is there a level of accountability that is there? Well, I say that to ask, we're human. What more do we expect of each other, and how soon can we reasonably expect issues to be addressed? Now, as the wonderful fine lady shared, we could talk to Kingdom Come. If we're not doing anything more than talking, will we ever get the issues addressed if we don't acknowledge them? The idea of roads, many have shared. We have nice roads compared to many places that are seemingly more advanced and mature in their economies and in their democracies and in their politics. But we have much to be grateful for and can look at with a degree of pride. But can we do it better? And is the answer more roads, wider roads? Not going to suggest this as being, one from a position of absoluteness. But there are some who have said, if we look at our existing, 3 lanes, and in some cases in both directions, is it that they're too wide? Do we need to have them all, the same width? One individual, and she shared that, like me, she's not an engineer nor a road engineer, but someone who is a regular road user. Could we take those roads and maybe have one wide lane for buses and bigger, wider vehicles, other lanes a little bit narrower for bicycles and or 2-wheel vehicles, and then some of the other lanes just a little bit smaller? Well, let's take this call. Hey, good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon, thank you for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sterling.
How are you today, man? Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, brother. Just a quick note on what you're talking about with the traffic, because I'm trying to get to my office.
Wow.
And, it's really ridiculous, because we sit around here and we fiddle our gums and we talk, and the only time that politicians talk is when it comes down looking for a vote. They forget about that once they get inside. They promise you the sun, moon, and the stars.
Mm-hmm.
But once they get the vote, and they find out when they get inside the government, that's not how it works. So, to say that, to just get it started, it is ridiculous what's happening in this island with the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
From a standpoint, we're averaging probably, and I'm going to say at least at a minimum, 200 vehicles being imported into this island a week.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see something, just go over by the port distribution center. They can't move them. Some of them have been sitting there for months.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the car distribution center. They're sitting on the lot. So what do? We got to send them out on the road on the weekend so they can catch up 5 or 6. How many accidents have we had this year so far?
We had too many.
Too many, correct. This little island is a 2x4 island. We are importing labor into this island to help us build it. For what? But each one of these laborers that we're paying nominal rates to are buying a Japanese, the Portuguese, and bringing it in and trading it off, because simply we as the store owners, the contractors, whatever you want to call it, don't want to buy a simple vehicle that would transport their laborers to the job sites every day. That is one thing that could be to relieve the stress, right? Secondly, we should have, and there is no cause in this God's almighty world under the sun that the government cannot institute a proper bus system on this island, and not this, forgive me, yardage style transportation that we have. And, and let this work out. It's a simple matter of sitting down in pure mathematics. You go to Bermuda, which is the same size as us, and they have over 100,000 population.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you can't go into that island unless you're into a certain income bracket and buy a vehicle. And only a certain amount of taxes can be operated each year. And they have to be owned and operated under a particular system, which is controlled by the government and be had. When you want to get a second vehicle in there, you better know that you prove yourself. Wreck one on the street, and you're given X amount of time to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ask that you're going to get another one until that one has been disposed of properly.
So what?
And we are here. Oh no, we can't do this because it's going to affect somebody's life. Whose life is going to affect? The stress that we're building up every day like what happened on Friday or Saturday afternoon, and right now happening practically again today, when you can't get where you're going. It took me from the airport to South Sound 1 hour and 20 minutes on Friday afternoon. Why? Gridlock.
Okay, I'll listen to you. Do you think it was the road closures?
I don't know road closures or what. You know, the majority of these people that are obtaining licenses on this island have never seen about a car where they came from. They don't know. You know, I've been to the Philippines. I've seen as many as 17 people on one, was it Honda 50 motorbike built out, right?
Wow.
And that's not including the pigs, the goats, the chickens, and whatever else they're carrying to market or whatever. You go to Jamaica and you see one bus with them hanging off the side of it, and you wonder how in the hell they don't get killed, that there's not more of them. You know, we sit here and beat up our gums every day about this, but nobody wants to say I'm man enough to step up to the plate and actually do something.
What do we do?
You know? And I'm so sick and tired of hearing this same retro crap every day from people, because that's all it is. It's retro crap. You want to get up and get something done, you get up and you get something done. Just get off your backside. It's going to be done. If you're put into government to do something and to make things up, look at this idiot crossing in the middle of the town, in all of the traffic. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. But how do we address it? I mean, someone said ban cars.
You simply put it in place. You got to go to Parliament. This is what we're doing. And you bring it forth. You bring it forth and you put it into law.
But what are we bringing forward?
How do you address it? We got these police that are sitting around twiddling their thumbs and telling you that they can't do this or can't do that. What? You go to the States and do what you're doing here and see what the hell happens. 95% of these people go to the States. I bet they're evading rules and driving up there. You know, it's. I've given you solutions to what to do. It's not about how you address it. Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go out there and buy land today to build roads or take somebody else's land to modify it to get 3 or 4 more dozen Japanese deportees on the road just to satisfy somebody. You don't do that. You effectively execute a position and do it. And simply make it stick.
All right, man.
And we need to stop, our government needs to stop this procrastination.
Well, the issue isn't going to go anywhere, right? So, as you said, it needs to be addressed, but then effectively addressed. All right.
Roads not going to be the answer. What are we going to end up building? Sky bridges as we got in Miami?
Well, that might be the proposal.
You can hold the earth to build up the swamps, and we're trying to protect them on the other side. I mean, come on, we got to get a grip on something somewhere. Somebody has to have the guts to be a man and call a spade and stand up and get something done.
Mm-hmm. All right, man.
No.
Appreciate the sentiments, man. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks very much. Thanks. With that, we'll take a final break and then take our callers. Stay tuned.
Not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. First, there was little. Then there was grand. But just maybe, the best was saved for last. Cayman Brac, the Pirates are coming. Friday, November 25th through the 27th. Friday, Heritage Day and Gimme Story at Spot Bay Community Cove starting at 10 a.m. and kickoff party at 9 p.m. at Coral Isle Club. Saturday continues with a family fun day at Scott's Dock, followed by the boat float parade starting at Buccaneers. Cut to the dock with fireworks show and after party at Tiger Bay Cafe. Sunday finishes with the Pirates Farewell Lunch at the Alexander Hotel. They came, they partied, they conquered. Pirates Fest Cayman Brac, November 25th through the 27th.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
After more than 20 years, the Cayman Islands Air Show is back. It's all eyes to the sky on Saturday, December 3rd for a thrilling air show on 7 Mile Public Beach. Witness amazing aerobatic maneuvers as world-class pilots put on a stunning show. Then see the planes and meet the aviators at the Island Air Hangar. Parking permitted at designated sites with free shuttle buses to the events. For all the details and event lineup, visit CaymanAirShow.com. The Cayman Islands Air Show returns Saturday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. at 7 Mile Public Beach and 3 p.m. at the Island Air Hangar.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamp Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road. Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works along West Bay Road adjacent to Governor Square. Preliminary activities will take place with the main works beginning on Monday, 21st November. These works are anticipated to last 2 weeks. During this time, access to the southbound lane along West Bay Road will be somewhat but not entirely restricted. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. All motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience
But I
caused.
do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, Mike, and thanks for sharing with us. A couple of WhatsApp messages to read, a couple of callers online. Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, hey, bro. Yeah, let's talk about that fishing incident I was telling you about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, you know, the enforcement of the thing. You remember we were talking about need better enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
No, the Department of Environment Conservation Unit was out there by Stingray to the sandbar, and the Marine Unit Police was out there by the sandbar as well, chilling out. You know, I don't know what they were doing. They were in their office.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation happened after I decided to leave, where I wanted to go to the Coral Gardens, and it baffled me when I saw someone fishing there. Like, this is a place where I'm going to enjoy the sights that I see and not to witness a fish getting caught. And the thing is about it, right? when the size of the fish that are there, that are trying to live in an environment where they feel safe and the reef is home, and when you're taking that fish out of their home instead of their hunting grounds, it's a whole completely different thing. When the conservation officers move the buoys down to tighten the circle of the environmental zone, just to occupy the fishers that are out there, what I would consider it poaching, and it's being allowed. So, like I was mentioning before, we got to think before we respond. And that guy could have told me, yo, you know that this is not an environmental zone. Just as an example. And when I fight against it because it's not right, the law already done approve it that it's not an environmental zone, right? Enforcement is not there anymore. We're being taxed by our industry. And the thing is about it now, again, when I talk to the locals about it now, and one of them is my grandfather, and he told me about this situation where they are giving people permission to fish. Anybody given permission to fish. And it abuses the system where you consider poaching, again, when you penalize somebody that is producing food for consumers, especially restaurants that are in high demand of this simple product that we have producing on this island, but are being abused by the people that are given permission to get it.
So, is it enforcement as well, or is it that the people who are trusted and enforce themselves don't know? Or how do you? What is the big issue?
Big issue is the fact that everybody wants their rights. We want our right to fish, but where are we going to fish? They restrict the obvious fishing zones because they consider it a high population of fish where these animals are actually thriving, hunting, doing their daily thing. Like everybody loves to fish in the grass flats, and we all know grass flats have big fish, tarpons and barracudas. You know, these fish that people love sport fishing. Now, when it comes into sport fishing, it should be classed to professionals because they have some people that might sport fish and feel like it's okay because they took the hook out of a fish from out and they're going to throw him back in the water. Who says that his swim bladder didn't burst? Hard to identify when a fish is in distress.
It's perhaps not something that people understanding how important it is to preserve the reefs, not just the environmental, but the economic value.
If we understand the most important part about the reef is it's a barrier. It's a barrier to the location where it is found to be a chaos and it needs a balance. Now, we have beach resorts that have a beachfront with a lot of sea fans, for an example, and the sea fans block the waves from eroding the beach. But if we decide that, okay, we won't trouble the sea fans, but we'll try to take the sand away so that it can get, or place sand there where it shouldn't be, because it already has a rip tide. Now, if it has naturally been disturbed, that's how nature made it. But if we continue to try to block what nature is creating, it will take its course.
Yep, it is, man.
It will take its course. And sooner or later, we're going to become an island of Atlantis. And that's only in a certain location where we should talk about, but it goes on to developing as well.
Yeah, and we're not looking at, what it is and the impact, down the road, Maybe we need to get you in the studio one day and have a good conversation about the importance of reefs and preservations and the like, huh?
Yes, sir. I'll have to get a nice shape up, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Almost at the end of the show, but we got a couple of the callers. Thank you for sharing. Any other thing else you want to say quickly?
No.
Okay.
We just have to work together.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Hey, thanks very much. All right. All right, let's take one more call. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Sterling. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Very well. How about you?
Pretty good, praise God. No, I waited so long before I could catch with the show where I could actually chime in and say something, because you had so many interesting, deep topics and stuff that, nobody would want to hear what I have to say. So I didn't bother to try calling in. But I must mention that it's a traffic issue. coming out of Hurley's. Now, if you're going to go east, right, you can manage that pretty well because you got options. You can go through by the gas station, and you can come out by the easternmost exit there. But now, if you want to come into town, coming through there, I mean, there's no traffic control that allows people getting out of there to do so safely. You see, I know they tried, and I have often commended the efforts made by the NRA to do the stuff they've been doing, and I mean, they've done a tremendous job. But it seems as though that, which is perhaps the new dysfunction junction, you cannot come out of there safely. And I live at a place where it is so convenient for me to use that exit because I come from Selkirk Drive, and I don't have to go there and go all the way up by Red Bay and the school and so on and so on. So I find that there's a little cut through, a shortcut or whatever you want to call it. The people in that area, in my area, Red Bay, have fought for them to open that road. There was a big sign put there in one of those things that NRA used to lock off, a big white thing. It's like styrofoam, but it isn't. It's something much sturdier. And he said, "Open our road," and so on. And I used to chuckle at that. And eventually somebody, because Mr. McLaughlin, being a prospect man, he had made a promise to try to sort that out. And he did a very good job. But now that he isn't there, we don't really have a champion. We don't really have a champion as far as I'm aware. But they did do something. But still, getting out through there, I mean, it's a major issue because the people who are heading east, they feel no obligation to stop to let people come out of there. If people are coming off of South Sound, well, then they understand that there are traffic controls for that, and they yield to the people coming from their right. But coming out from Hurley's, I don't know if it needs one stop light like they did on South Sound, just allowing the people, because there have been many accidents, but there could have been a lot more. And I always commend the people who are on this island for their driving. Other people seem to have a different opinion. But I think that you have to have your head on at all times, be a conscientious road user, and be, I have tried to stop sometimes to let people out of there if I'm heading east. But sometimes there are people behind me. Some of them have blown on me because I dare to try to stop there, and I know it's risky because there's no obligation for me to stop because no traffic obligation, so to speak. Nothing says that I have to stop, but those people got to get out of there still. I think that the NRA or whoever is responsible should make every effort to deal with that issue, because I don't think it's entirely fair, because lots of people shop at Hurley's, and a lot of them don't want to go all the way up to close to Red Bay Primary there and come around. So I just would this is a plea to NRA to try to see if they could find some form of traffic control which allows people coming out from by Hurley's to head west, so to speak. So basically, that's what I call to say. But I could add to what I am saying. The fact that some people get on your program and they think that the solution is to, in a sense, kill people, all the people who are not born here, kill them, and then all our problems will be alleviated. The guy who called 2 things ago I saw you trying to get out of him. What, sir, do you see as the solution? Now, there are these problems, but right now, I don't see. I think that the NRA or whoever was responsible for the traffic control for Thursday, Friday, Saturday erred, because I myself was caught trying to get home, and that is east, and I had to park my car at the top of where was it? Top of one of the streets there. I think from that end it's the street where the Mary Street. I think it's the top of Mary Street. The little plaza there, and I stopped there. I parked my car, and then I walked over to the roti shop and got some nice dal and dal.
Hey, it's lunchtime,
Yes,
Don't be tempting people.
Well, that's what I had to do because I rarely buy out. We have a lady who cooks for us, and she's a very good cook. I rarely buy things like my wife could make at home, or the lady who works for us could make at home. So that kind of cuisine is fine for me. Dal, it's a liquid thing. You might or might not be familiar with it. It's made from split peas, really, and it's like a soup.
I like it, man. That's one thing. It's lunchtime. What would you want?
Boy, that is good food.
A little chana to go with it as well, huh?
I plan to. Since I know they sell it by itself, I don't have to buy anything else. Because too much flour isn't good for me, in terms of my weight gain and stuff of that, things of that nature. But since they do sell the dal by itself, I can go every now and again and get me a size cup of dal for $6, and I don't mind that at all. But so I spent a lot of time in the traffic there. I spent over 2 hours, just under 3 hours, trying to get home. And that little escape that I did, go over to the roti shop and stuff, I spent about 25 minutes there. But I spent easily over 2 hours. There's a guy, that electrical place there. I can't recall what the name of it is. Donna Myrie had something there. I know she's still owns.
Used to be Electrotech.
Yes. The Electrotech guy he actually came out. I commended him. Told him because, I have a way of condemning what needs to be condemned. And even if I don't get to do it to people's faces, I do so, to other people. Look, this guy, what he did was wrong or whatever. So when I saw what this guy was doing, as soon as I got an opportunity, I told him he was doing a very good job. I think he worked there at that place. And he came out of his car. And I remember seeing him go on his knees, literally fall on his knees, and beg somebody to do his bidding so that he could free up because we had been sitting there for 25 minutes without moving. I was there for 25 minutes without moving at all, not an inch forward. And after he got the guy to comply with his request to do something, move forward or something, well, then we began to move a little. But, it was chaos there Friday.
Yeah, man.
It was chaos down there. It wasn't the type of chaos that would see cars crashing because nobody is moving. I'm crashing, we're not moving.
It was frustrating, huh?
It was frustrating.
Yeah, man.
So I know that something there, it could have been better.
Yeah.
They could have done better there. I think that now, as I said to my wife a little while ago, now that they know, because sometimes people do things because they can do it. They block off the road because they can do it. They have the authority to do it, and they think it's a good idea. But now that they know the chaos it caused, or can cause, I'm sure that, everybody is going to be more circumspect, and we're not going to have that again next year. So, but the thing I mainly wanted to address is coming out of Hurley's. and I'm hoping, I'm trusting, I'm praying that somebody will address that, because it affects me on a daily basis, because I come through there every day virtually.
Yeah, man. It is a challenge, you know.
Yes, it's challenging, and there are people who come down there as though that's not a consideration at all. I guess there are people who live either very west or very east and don't have to encounter that on a daily basis. So they really don't, it doesn't affect them. So they're saying, I don't have to stop. Why should I bother stopping? So I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
And because I know how it can affect people who have to come out there, because I know that, I try to accommodate people from time to time. So I think a day or two ago, I stopped briefly and blew my horn to get this guy, but he wasn't on the ball, and I couldn't hold up the other people because he wasn't on the ball and didn't move quickly. So that is but I'm playing through you, the NRA, or the traffic department, whichever one is responsible, to try to do something at that junction. And
I'm prayerful that they will, you know, because it is, as you shared, you know, an issue that needs addressed.
But listen, they have done so much good work in terms of putting down roundabouts and so on. But I think that the only chink in the armor is that very junction. The only chink in the armor is that very junction.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, I give them 110% support for what they have done, what they're doing. So bless them, and I hope somebody's listening, or you could convey my message and do something there.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. And get some that channel to go with it as well, man. Thank you. Always a pleasure to listen to our callers. Thank you so much for allowing us to share with you. I invite you to come back tomorrow for more talk today after the midday news. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331.
Talk Today is proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including